So you're charged with failure to identify oneself for a peace officer while being a fugitive from justice. We're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On February 28, 2025, the officer was dispatched to a suspicious person call on Montgomery Road in Harris County, Texas.
Hold up, failure to identify while being a fugitive. That's not just forgetting your name at Starbucks. In Texas, if you're wanted and you give a fake name, it's a class of misdemeanor, maybe worse depending on the warrant. So yeah, this isn't just paperwork trouble.
The officer arrived on scene and was informed by the caller that there was a male at the above location that had a warrant and that he was sitting on the steps in front of the apartment. When the officer arrived, he did not observe a male on the steps, so he knocked on an apartment and the defendant answered the door. The officer told him he received a call at the location and asked him to identify himself. The defendant stated his name was Levante Samuels with a date of birth of December 7th with no year given. The officer had officers on scene run the defendant NCIC, TCIC, and nothing came back. The officer asked the defendant again for his name, and he informed him the same name. An assisting officer on scene informed him that the defendant was the wanted person, so the officer detained the defendant. The officer placed the defendant in handcuffs and thoroughly searched him before placing him in the back of the patrol vehicle, and was shown the defendant's mugshot, and asked the defendant again if he would tell me his correct name, and he proceeded to tell the officer that I already got it. So I asked for a unit with a mobile AFIS, and the officer used the mobile AFIS and was waiting on the defendant, who then stated his name was Bobby Samuels. The officer then had dispatch confirm the warrant, and the defendant stated that he had told him the wrong name because he knew he had a warrant. The warrant was confirmed, and the officer took the defendant into custody.
So you had an open, felony warrant?
I'm trying to find what it was. It was an AFM warrant, an assault family member. I'm trying to see where it's.
It's a felony warrant.
It's a felony warrant, Your Honor.
Mr. Samuels, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case.
Notice how the judge is calm but firm here. That no more PR bonds warning? That's a legal mic drop. Translation, you mess up again, and you're staying locked up, no freebies.
Putting any conditions on your bond, just be careful. Don't pick up any new cases. I'm going to protect my community. If I find that you pick up a new case, I'm going to put you in jail. Do you understand? No more PR bonds. Do you have the ability to hire lawyers, sir? Okay. I'll have you fill out an application. I'll have Deputy Miranda give you one. I'll take a look. I'll have you sign a receipt with Ramona. We'll have you fill out the application. I'll take a look, see whether you qualify. Your iFront, is it Shake?
Yes, sir.
Sir, you're charged with 3 cases. You're charged with terroristic threat of a family or a household member. You were charged with assault of a family member. You were charged with interference with emergency request for assistance. All 3 of those you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present.
Okay, that line may sound odd, but give him grace. What he meant was I need help, probably an interpreter or attorney. It's a stark reminder of how language barriers can escalate courtroom confusion fast.
If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Can I say something or no?
About the case, or do you have a lawyer?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
How about attorney, and I need to discuss something, sir.
You are an attorney?
No. I need attorney. I need attorney.
I need hair. We'll talk later. Let's do probable cause first. You have the right to remain silent.
Yeah.
Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes. On February 23rd, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, the officers were dispatched to a threat to life call. Upon arrival, the officer met with the complainant, who stated that the defendant is her husband. The complainant stated that the defendant and her got into an argument, and that the defendant stated, "I'm not afraid of the police. I will grab that knife and cut your throat." The complainant then stated that the defendant had, on November 16th, 2024, assaulted her. The complainant stated that the defendant grabbed her by the top of her dress, causing scratch marks, and punched her in the chest, causing bruising. The complainant stated that she attempted to call 911, but the defendant ended the call.
Sorry, patience.
The terroristic threat was the, I'm going to grab a knife and cut your throat on it. Okay. Mr. Sheikh, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
So this also is the item of available money.
I'm not going to listen. You have the right to remain silent. Exercise that right. Anything that you say, they're going to try to use it against you to prove guilt. So what I can have you do is I can have you fill out an application. I will take a look at it to see whether you qualify. We don't give appointed lawyers like it's candy on Halloween. You have to qualify, and if you do, then I'll take a look. But I need you to fill out everything. As it stands now, I am ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with the complaining witness in this case and not to be in possession of weapons. You are not to go within 200 feet of where this person lives or where this person works. Do you understand?
Jamal Crump?
Do you see whether a order for protection has been entered in this case? Nice. Let me see.
And Judge, the DAD prosecutor is on the phone.
Oh.
There he goes.
That's
Yes, Judge. I was able to make contact with her. I'm not sure what the discussions were beforehand, but we're going to be asking for no contact with to keep the rest, whatever the residency restriction is.
She does not want to have contact with her. Okay.
And I don't see a protective order in place.
On the AFM, there.
Is there one?
Yeah.
But I'm going to also do one on the terroristic threat.
Yes, Judge.
I want you to understand something and take me seriously when I say this, that when I mean no contact, I absolutely mean no contact. I don't care what's going on.
Dramatic shift here. This is the part where the judge pulls out the legal shield, an emergency protective order. It's like a restraining order, but faster, stronger, and comes with serious teeth if violated.
In your life. I don't care that you need clothes. I don't care that there's a child involved. I don't care that you need to go get the car, whatever it may be. No means no. And if you violate these court orders, the state can and probably will file a violation of a protective order against you. That is the capital murder of misdemeanors. Do you understand? I am now entering in what's called a magistrate's order for emergency protection on the terroristic threat. This is a court order that identifies the complaining witness as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot go within 200 feet of where she lives or where she works. You understand? This is what I'm saying, that if you violate this order, they can file additional charges against you. Now, Deputy Miranda will give you an application. I'll have you fill it out. I will take a look whether you qualify. Anything else you want? Oh,
No, Judge. We'll probably with no contact.
so can you also file the no contact and no weapons so that it outlives the... Okay. Do not leave until you sign our additional bond conditions.
Yes.
Okay, please. Mr. Crump, you are charged with unlawful restraint. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On March 1st, 2025, at approximately 2:27 p.m., the officer was dispatched to a disturbance call in Harris County, Texas. Upon arrival, the officer met with the complainant, who stated that her child's father caused the disturbance and got her kicked out of the motel. The complainant stated her and the defendant got into an altercation due to the defendant trying to take a child away that they have together, and the complainant not wanting to be together anymore. The complainant was attempting to leave the room when the defendant began sitting against the door, preventing her from leaving. The complainant stated she grabbed the defendant by his hair and started striking him with a closed fist because she was in fear for her safety due to a previous offense report from Harris County Sheriff's Office. The defendant called his brother, and the defendant's brother entered the room and started recording the incident, and the defendant was trying to leave with the child, and the complainant attempted to get him away from the defendant. The complainant was unsuccessful, and the child bumped his head on the door, and the complainant stated she knew the defendant by name, age, and sight. The officer was able to locate the defendant's driver's license and positively identified the defendant. Another call for service came from another location regarding an assault that occurred at the original location. Upon arrival, the officer met with the defendant, who stated he was assaulted by the complainant. The defendant stated they were having a conversation in the restroom of a hotel and that he was standing in the doorway when all of a sudden the complainant became belligerent and started cursing him, telling him to leave. The defendant stated he was punched in the face and suffered a busted lip, and the defendant stated his brother was called to mediate and be a witness. Then the
This metaphor? Some people can become a cancer. That's the judge's raw emotional warning. It's not just legal, it's human. Domestic situations aren't just about law. They're about lives unraveling.
complainant began cursing at the brother. The defendant stated the complainant grabbed the child by one arm and threw him on the bed like a ragdoll.
Mr. Crump, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Did she ended up getting charged as well?
I do not see a charge for the complainant, Your Honor.
So just don't have any contact with this person. That's all I'm asking you to do. You know, sometimes when you have cancer in life, what do? You cut it out, because if you don't, it kills you. Some people in life can become a cancer to you as well. So that's it. I don't want you to have contact with this person. Do you understand? If I find that you do, I'm going to revoke your bond. I will put you in jail. I'm also ordering you not to be in possession of weapons as well, Mr. Crump. Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer, or would you like to apply for a court-appointed lawyer? Okay, I'll have you fill out an application. I'll take a look at it. I'm going to have you sign a receipt with Ramona. After that, I'll have you take a seat in the jury box. Do not leave until you sign our bond conditions. Do you understand? Okay, come on.
We ordered him to have no contact with the complainant. They share a son together. Is there any way they could have a third party for visitation?
Well, of course. They can always use someone else, but I don't. Come up, Mr. Crump. I know that you're upset that they filed this case. But when I mean no contact, I absolutely mean it. They're going to call this person now to let them know of the bond conditions that have been filed. So if I get wind that you have contact with this person, then we're going to have issues. I get that you have a son, and you should have, or a daughter, I don't know what it was, but you should have access, because every father should have access to their child. And I want you to have access to your child, but you got to do it the right way. You know, use someone who, like James saying, a third party. Don't take it upon yourself to try to do stuff, because it's going to go sideways real quick. Maybe if you have parental figures like your mom, your dad, someone that she probably likes, right? If she doesn't like your brother, that's probably not a good person to use to try to get contact with the child. So try to find someone, you know, maybe he can also help you too. You know, maybe he can help facilitate as well, where she drops off the child at a McDonald's somewhere, and then you come and you get the child for a certain amount of time, and you drop the child back off at a McDonald's. But don't do stuff your own way. Are we good? Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Ma'am, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. Officers were dispatched to Fairmont Parkway in Harris County, Texas, and the defendant was arguing with her husband in the parking lot and got into the car and drove off, nearly hitting him and causing him to fall to the ground. Witnesses called the police, and officers found the defendant in her vehicle near the exit with the car in drive. The defendant ignored the officer's request to turn the car off, and officers noted slurred speech, red eyes,
And boom, the DWI hits. What stands out? The detail: wine-stained purse, red liquid matching the drink. The officer painted a crime scene with words. In Texas, a second offense is a real problem. Bond conditions get brutal fast.
unsteady balance, in addition to an odor of an alcoholic beverage. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted, HGN 4 out of 6, and the defendant refused the remainder of tests and was transported to JPC. The GIC was read and the defendant refused. A blood warrant was signed and executed. During an inventory of the vehicle, the officer located 2 stemless wine glasses